And we are live on Facebook. Awesome. Okay, so today's topic, we're going to be short and sweet today, kind of like me. We're going to talk about three things that you can do when you're dealing with abusive people at work. And now, this, of course, is not in the case of physical threat. Of course, you want to stop that always and deal with that usually with authorities. But this is for when you have somebody that's they're having an outburst, they're venting on you, they're being abusive verbally to you, and how you can deal with that, and how you, especially in a work environment. Now, technically, this shouldn't be happening in a work environment, but however, it does happen. And it can happen when you least expect it. And I've had this happen before, and I'm going to share actual tips of things that I've done that have actually helped not only me, but also helped the other person, right? Um, so, if this is your first time joining me, my name is Tina. I am a happiness coach, and I help business owners deal with the emotional side of the business, the emotional roller coaster that comes with running a business, dealing with people, and helping you deal with feelings of depression, anxiety, um, frustrations, sadness, grief, loss, longing, any of those kind of things, and move you into a happier place. So I do this by sharing my own personal experience, strength, and hope, and I share a trauma-informed change management approach. Change management is the people side of change, so whether that's a system implementation or a culture change, these are all things, it's the emotions that you need to get buy-in to be able to help shift people and help them adapt to the new way of being. So, over my career, I've been in transportation and logistics for over 30 years, and there have been many times that I have dealt with some pretty abusive people or good people that got abusive. So, I don't like to label somebody as they're abusive or not. They had a situation where they became abusive and they were not their best self. And so, example, this was back when I was a customer service rep, when I was fairly new with the company that I had just joined, and I had a good rapport with this customer, and they were usually we laughed and we joked around and all that kind of stuff, and it was fun. And but this day he was really frustrated, really upset with something, and he absolutely went off on me. He started screaming, yelling, swearing profanities at me, and we're going to talk through the three things that I did in that particular situation to help turn that around. So, number one is don't react. When somebody is behaving badly towards you, it is best not to react. Do not retaliate in kind. Do not add fuel to the fire, right? So recognize it. And this is not something that is easy. It takes quite a bit of emotional maturity to be able to deal with this. The point is you do not want to be adding to the situation. We want to be able to diffuse the situation by allowing the person to vent. Now, do not take unacceptable behavior. And in this case, I didn't actually accept the unacceptable behavior. But I did not react. I didn't cry. I didn't yell back. I didn't tell them off. I didn't do any of that kind of stuff. Do not react. Let them vent. Let them do what it is that they need to do. Like, just stop talking and just listen. And let them have that voice and get it out of their system. Now, you might be like, Tina, you're just being a doormat doing that. And it's like, no, this comes from a place of power, not because I don't feel good enough not to stand up for myself. This is an acknowledgement that this person is in a state of fear, and they are not dealing with reality. Because if they were, they would know that that is not the appropriate way to talk to me. So I have to treat them like they are either insane or they are not in their right mind, basically. So it is calmness, a stopping of standing back and looking at them and allowing them to vent so that they can also hear themselves too. And so the second thing that you want to do is you want to make sure that you do not argue back. So whatever things that they're saying, usually they're calling you down, they're trying to make it out to be something that is your fault. Rather than trying to argue or defend yourself or try to reason with somebody, because if they are in that state, they are clearly not in a reasonable state. They're not able to cognitively accept logic and be able to any evidence or any proof that you try to give them to help them calm down is not really going to get through to them. They're not really able to see things clearly, because if they could see things clearly, they wouldn't be in that state in the first place. So when you don't react and you don't argue, it allows them to sit with whatever emotions that they're feeling with. I'm doing great, King Tom. How are you today? So, and what we need to understand is when they're in that state, they are projecting their own fears, their own insecurities outwards. And when we go to react and we argue back, what we're doing is we're taking on and we're believing the stuff that they're saying is true. And that's the only time that I've ever gotten into a place where I feel the need to defend myself, the need to fight back, or any of that kind of stuff. So this is a little bit more of a passive resistance style, not being a doormat. There's a very big difference, because a doormat feels like they should be walked over. This is, no, I'm listening to you. I'm not taking this personally. I am not taking this on. And I can see that you're in a state of fear, which is false evidence appearing real. And the first stage of fear is anger, fight, right? So somebody that's in that state is actually looking for you to fight with them so that they can feel better about that. And not buying into it, not actively participating in whatever drama it is that they have going on, and standing firm and staying calm and non-reactive allows them to sit with that emotional pain that they are going through. And then the third step is helping them. Now, during these stages, when I had this customer of mine yelling at me, screaming profanities, I remember saying his name very calmly, and I said, I understand that you're upset. However, I'm not going to be talked to in this particular way, so I am going to actually hang up and we can talk again later. So in case you guys are thinking that I'm just being a doormat and these processes don't actually work, that is not the case. And because I did that, because I spoke to him in that way, I remained calm and non-reactive, then he became aware that it was his behavior, because I didn't add my negative behavior to that pile of stuff. He realized that it was all on him, right? Thanks, Kurt. How are you tonight? I'm doing well. You're just a breath of fresh air. All right, thank you. So in doing those kind of things, the next thing that I did is whatever factual things that he was bringing up, not the name calling, not the swearing that he was doing, but the factual things that he was bringing up, I actually took the time and I went and I actually solved his problem. And I went back and I said, I've gotten you the information. Now, don't get me wrong. During this time, I was upset. I was upset because I'm like, how dare you treat me like that? do not fucking talk to me like that. And it was like all of this stuff goes on in your head. But at the same time, I don't want to feed into whatever he's got going on. I'm not going to add to his pain by lashing back out at him. And it is important that we always stay in control of our own emotions and our own behaviors. So while I was still mad about it and I can't really control the emotion or the reaction that's coming up, what I can do is I can control my behavior and prevent myself from adding to the negativity, adding to the problem, adding to the fight. And I just double dog dare you to try this stuff when you find somebody that just likes to, especially if they're like deliberately trying to get under your skin and they're trying to get a rise out of you and trying to irritate you and get you frustrated, because it's like that saying, misery loves company kind of thing, right? So what is going on is we need to make sure that we're not contributing to that and we're not getting pulled down into that, that we are strong enough in our own self and our own love for ourselves and our own self-care, that when somebody else does that, all you actually see is that they're in pain. Even if they're behaving badly, for me, that's all I can see now. Because I've done a lot of this inner work, that gives me a lot more clarity. Everything is, if you filter everything through, it is either an expression of or a cry for love. And if somebody is yelling and screaming at you, that is usually not an expression of love. Usually. Now, there's a few rare circumstances where it could be, but the majority of the time, if they're shouting obscenities at you and they are belittling you and talking down to you, that's usually, just so we're clear, that's not love. And that is a cry for love. And so if we lash back out, we are just validating their pain. We're validating whatever negative mindset that they have going on in their own mind. So while it may get under our skin, being non-reactive and not arguing back on that and agreeing with whatever they come up with, you could be right. And just saying something like that, you could be right. Like, you know what? You're a friggin' asshole. You could be right. In our own heads, we can say, but you're not. But leave that with ourselves. So it's a matter, because the truth is it's our own opinion of ourselves that actually matters. And if it's getting in under our skin with something that they're doing, it's because on some level we're agreeing with their assessment. And that is so hard to do in the moment, especially when it hurts, right? But if we take care of our own stuff and we control and manage our own reactions and our responses to various things, then we retain the control, we retain the power over our own selves. And so the third thing is to go and help them. So if they are crying out for love, then going and giving them that support, giving them that encouragement. And because I didn't react, I didn't argue with him, I still set firm boundaries saying that I wasn't going to be spoken to in that manner. When I called him back with the answer, the information that he needed for the true part of the problem, and I solved his problem, he humbly apologized and promised that he would never do that again, and he actually did not, because he knew that that kind of behavior was not warranted and that was not the way that he should be speaking with me. Even if I was acting negatively, even if I wasn't a good support to him, because I have always been that way, for me, it doesn't come down to whether or not he was right or wrong. That's not the point here. The point of it is that I was proud of who I was in that moment, that I reacted as a person that I could actually respect. And when we focus on our own behavior versus the other person's behavior, we don't really have control over that. So when we focus on our own behavior and we focus on doing the steps and taking the actions that aligns us with the ability to behave as a person that we would respect and admire and look up to, and how did they respond? And when we behave in those same ways, that's how we earn our own self-respect. So that is something for me, that is something that is really, really powerful. And I use these three things repeatedly on nonstop. I will set boundaries. I will say this is not acceptable if it gets to that point. Most of the time, I let stuff go and I just behave in a way that I am proud of. And so, guys, that is going to be the short, sweet training for today. If you're just jumping in right now and you want to catch the replay of what we started talking with, then go to my YouTube channel, Coach Tina B 125, and click the subscribe button, and you'll get notified when I upload the live replays. And I'm a little bit behind on doing the uploads, but I'm going to get caught up here real soon. And so, guys, hope this was helpful. Thank you, Dr. Eamon. I hope this was helpful, and come back again tomorrow and we'll go over a new topic. If there's any questions or anything that you want me to cover, send me a DM giving me the challenge that you're facing, and I will do a training on it. Okay? So guys, thank you very much, and we'll have a great night. Take care. Bye.